to SunnyRedemption Sailing, your bi-weekly-ish voyage for PS3 gaming news. So, let's invite you to the party for Halo Campaign Evolved.
I don't know how the saving works because I just hit a checkpoint in the mission I'm on. Let me just save and exit the.
Oh, okay. So you definitely played a bit. I have not at all.
Okay.
I wanted my raw first impressions of this campaign.
Oh, I couldn't wait. I didn't make it very far.
Well, I also thought you would be available earlier, to be fair, but I don't blame you.
Yeah.
This is your job.
No, it's just been between working, my birthday, travel. It's been a lot.
Well, happy birthday.
Days. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I was out with some friends earlier, and we got just some food, and they got me a surprise present, which was a new controller, which I'm using.
Oh, nice. Yeah, send me a picture of that later. That sounds cool. I think we could do Legendary by now. By the way,
we could try. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult. Even I'm just not very practiced. I'm not very in Halo shape right now, so.
Okay, heroic it is then.
Just try it. Yeah, I've been doing my solo on heroic, and that's kind of the perfect difficulty for me if I'm a little out of practice. Like, if we want to try Legendary, we can. I'm not sure how they scale it. If it works differently than the original.
Yeah, well, we can always bump it down if it turns out to be terrible.
Yeah, let's start on Legendary, see how the first mission goes, and then maybe if we really slog our way, checkpoint to checkpoint, we can bump it down.
Because I'm curious how the saving works in co-op too. Oh, the classic loading screen.
Yeah, I feel like they heard the complaints from Master Chief Collection of not having a lot of the original assets.
Or just any personality.
Menu assets. Yeah. So that loading screen, even though it takes 1/10 of the time that the original one did, it's nice that it's in there.
What's not been nice, according to Pounder McNasty, who now goes by PM Films, and Rebs Gaming, is that the development of this remake was such a crunch fest. Because we got Project Ecker canceled, and no new developments on a sequel to Infinite. They were supposed to come out by now, all 3 games. But, wow, the cutscenes are really cool.
Yeah, I like some parts of the new cutscenes. They are a little bit over long, at least the ones I've seen so far.
Yeah, I can see that. They really want to show off their chops on creating missions and cutscenes, and grind their teeth that way, and that's what the bonus missions are, as well.
And I don't necessarily mind the redone cutscenes because this is a from the ground up remake, but and the original is always there, but I don't know, I feel like the brevity I think did well for this game, just sort of in and out of the cutscenes, whereas this kind of goes on.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing we can talk over gaming news on that, because hello and welcome to SunnyRedemption Sailing, your bi-weekly-ish voyage for PS3 gaming news, as we tackle Halo Campaign Evolved and the fraught controversies surrounding it. Because, oh crap, there is a lot. But yeah, Project Ecker was supposed to be a battle royale, then it became an extraction shooter, and then it became a battle royale again? I don't think the head of Halo Studios really knows what he's doing except barking orders. What's his name anyway?
Oh, I don't know the current head's name. I know the old one. Chris was
Pierre
Hintz or something. Pierre Hintz, yeah.
Yeah, he was the head of publishing in 2018, and he has handled Halo products before, but it just feels like, based on the HR complaint that was filed against him, he could be a very abusive leader. At least allegedly. Yeah. And regardless of the status / worthiness of Project Ecker to actually release without Halo's classic multiplayer modes, which was an internal criticism, it passed all sorts of green lights and could have been released. it would have been a very interesting experiment, that's for sure. I mean, I could just picture going into an ODST drop pod and then just going onto a Halo ring and fighting other players and NPCs for loot. That seems pretty straightforward to me.
Like, it definitely feels like an obvious move. I mean, but at the same time, I don't necessarily always need Halo to be like trend chasing in that way.
No.
I feel like it's not working.
It's just, you can't really spend years chasing trends and then have nothing to show for it. Like, at all.
Yeah.
And this is one of the few franchises that absolutely could have worked with this kind of live service.
Yeah.
If that was the plan from the beginning.
They could do something with, like, they already have sort of a PvE thing going with Firefight that they've had varying success with over the years. I feel like if they, like, there are ways that they could do, like, a battle royale within the framework of Halo, and there's a lot of obvious things, like you said, with the ODST drop pods and stuff. It's just, I think they probably would have put something out around that if they could get it to work.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, they needed developers from Project Ecker a multiplayer game to work on a single-player campaign, because Halo Studios is mismanaged as hell, and they got lucky with this, because it seems like the reception is pretty good, but it doesn't seem like remakes are as easy as people would like to believe, unfortunately, because if done right, remakes can really help space out your development and allow you to take more risks. The only reason that Pragmata is a thing is because of the steady success of the Resident Evil remakes.
Yeah. I mean, and this could be a good starting point, because I think this is probably the first Halo game without any real remnants that I'm aware of, like the old Blam engine, because even Infinite had a lot of that still in there.
Well,
this is the first UE5.
Pounder McNasty claimed that it was a mix of Unreal Engine and bits of the Reach engine. So there is definitely legacy code in there.
Yeah.
yeah, that appears to be what's happening.
Yeah, I do think this plays pretty well so far. The one thing the only real major criticism I would have is, like, the control. Like, the controls are fully rebindable, but I wish there was just a quick preset option to have, like, the legacy controls, because that's what I prefer. So I kind of had to do a little fine tuning there, but I've gotten there.
I don't know if it can't be a recording issue, right? I don't know what this is, but I definitely had some frame rate issues for a bit there. Oh, I did not realize that would actually hurt you.
Yes. This is just the first little scripted segment till you get to keys. No real danger.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you really went out of your way, you could probably die here, but...
Oh, no. Yeah. Before you ever get a weapon. That would be hilarious for the reclaimer.
Master Chief, sir, the situation is secure here. You're probably needed somewhere else. Those alien bastards are everywhere.
Oh boy, well, yeah, I'm following you.
Yep. Yeah, like for Halo specifically, I need that right stick to be like the zoom in. I cannot do the left trigger, right trigger with Halo.
Oh, well, hey. I'm glad they have control options that are great. That's been a thing since MCC, for sure.
Yeah, I think the reason why they couldn't have the legacy controls in there is because they have a couple extra buttons dedicated to both sprint and, like, armor abilities.
Wow, I did not realize armor abilities would be in Campaign Evolved.
Yeah, I know later on, it's kind of Halo 3 style, to my understanding.
Yeah, I had heard something about that, actually.
Yeah, so those, I said armor abilities, but that was technically Reach that had those. 3 was more just, like, armor, or, like, not armor, but, like, on the field pickups.
I see. Well, it'll be interesting to see how all this gels together, and how you could spawn in things like the flood on the beach, for instance. That would be hilarious. There must be a skull or something like that. That's what I'm thinking, but I have no idea.
Yeah, there are a ton of souls in this game. I really combed these first like level and a half that I played, and I failed to find any. So I'll probably just pull the guide later, see if I find any naturally in my initial playthrough.
Maybe they changed the placement, but again, that's just an educated guess.
There were no skulls originally.
And speaking of things I have no idea about, I was really fascinated to hear John Linneman talk about Halo on Digital Foundry, because things like the lighting changes to the to that initial hallway, I would not have noticed, to be honest, because it's been so long. But then I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can see that, because he's just really passionate about breaking it down like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that tiny things like that ultimately matter in the grand scheme of things, but it does show an attention to detail that is helpful, at least. However, I'm not sure that they have the development capacity for remakes of 2 and 3. It may just be a Combat Evolved Anniversary situation where this first game was how a new reformation of the Halo flagship studio got to grips with what makes Halo work by revisiting that first game.
Make sure my daughter gets this.
Okay, I don't remember this scene.
Well, this is a little more protracted. In the original, he's like, here's a pistol, go. Here's Cortana, go.
Yeah, well, since Miranda came up later, it does make sense to hint at her now. You know, to try and establish that emotional bond better, I suppose.
Yeah, and as far as like a 2 and 3 potential remake, it's like, I guess I could see it happening just because if they already have this established development pipeline, and they're already, like, if they just do it in the same style, they don't have to really, like, iterate gameplay-wise, just kind of, you know, build the 2 and 3 levels from the ground up.
Yeah,
I could see that happening. And, like, if they can get a 2 remake out, if they're already maybe even working on it in 3 years or whatever, for that game's 25th anniversary, and then hit the same cadence for 3, I think that would probably do well financially for them, at least. Whether it's something I don't necessarily need that, just in the same way I didn't necessarily need this. It's nice to have, but like, I'd probably prefer them to just work on a new Halo game. But if they are going to have like a team dedicated to remakes, and this has sort of been in vogue in the industry, like, I think this is a good start. And if they did Halo 2 and 3 in this style, I would not be opposed.
Yeah, I mean,
and especially for 3, like, I think just that game lives, you know, like, has a pretty legendary presence in the minds of a lot of people. So I think, like, if they can keep the remake train rolling until 3 and manage to get that out the door, especially if they do eventually decide to, like, you know, work in some multiplayer stuff. Oh, okay, yes. This is legendary. I die instantly.
Wow, okay, well.
Okay, back.
Well, yeah, these games are legendary. It would be interesting, at least, to get remakes of them. Of course, I'll play them with you, because they're Halo games, but the problem is, I don't know if this studio has the organization with this leader, with Pierre, who said, I don't give a fuck about work-life balance, has the ability to do that. Like, I just don't know. It's very disconcerting to be like, oh, yay, this is a really fun game, but then realize that people poured their blood, sweat, and tears into it by having orders barked at them and being treated like grunts.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it's that old ethical dilemma again of how do you enjoy a game that probably was made with a lot of blood.
Yeah.
But you know what?
That's just the case for modern life, unfortunately.
But you know what? Nintendo isn't part of that, at least. And Splatoon Raiders is freaking awesome.
I mean, Nintendo has had some bad crunch stuff in the past. I don't know what their current situation is, but
it seems like they're at least trying to be better paced. because,
Yeah.
well,
I'm dead.
Shigeru Miyamoto just acknowledged that that there are a lot of remakes, but I got exploded by a grenade.
Right.
That's just part of the course. Anyway, not long to spawn at all. Appreciate that. But yeah, basically, he acknowledged that there are a lot of remakes at Nintendo, but it makes sense. You, again, need to take more time for new original games. And it seems like what happened with Splatoon Raiders was that it was originally supposed to be an expansion to Salmon Run, but it got too big. And holy shit is it big. There are 3 different skill trees. One for speed, one for power, and one for tactics. Tactics is the one that I've been really interested in because I like having the bot buddy jump me up into the air and then like throwing down a couple of turrets basically to deal with that. It can be really rough at times with the difficulty because it is a roguelike and it does have weapon levels and stuff, and those are things that don't always mesh well for me, but there's really very little penalty for death in Splatoon at all. You basically just reload and go again, and it's very quick with lots of different cool effects that make me feel like, oh yeah, this could only be on Switch too. I think because Nintendo had set the bar so relatively low graphically, people are really liking the changes that are there because they can see the difference. They can see that more of the cartoony style that Nintendo is known for, and that I think they did very well in the past free Splatoon games. Like, people actually got a chance to refine that. If you keep laying off people, the minute that you fail, then you don't learn anything. That's the problem. And I'm not sure that Halo Studios will learn much from this remake. Ow!
Oh,
well,
Suicide Run. Okay, got him.
Suicide Run.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm very much more into the multiplayer in Splatoon, so I'm probably gonna pass on Raiders for now.
There is multiplayer actually.
I mean the competitive multiplayer.
Oh, okay. I mean that's fair. That's a good reason to keep Splatoon 3 installed, at least.
Like I played all the Splatoon campaigns, all the expansions, so you know I've experienced them. I'm not really looking for more of that and exclusively that. As something to like play through for like 6 hours before I like dig into the multiplayer, they're fine, but like mostly there for the competitive.
Well, the structure is very different from a typical campaign level. Basically, there's a bit of open-ish exploration beforehand. There's like logs to find and stuff, so it's a little bit more wide. I think that's because you do need to accommodate more players, potentially, because there is a help system. But the enemy variety is really where it excels compared to Splatoon 3 even. So I'd consider getting that on a sale, if only to play co-op together at some point, but Nintendo rarely puts things on sale, so I completely understand you holding off.
Yeah, maybe eventually, like if it gets down to like $40, that's about as low as they'll ever go.
Well, hey, Sony, I have a physical copy of this game, so I can let you try it freely, because that's what physical games are supposed to be about. And Microsoft isn't immune to these things either, because did you see the outages for them both? It's like, you couldn't make the argument harder against an all-digital future if you tried. And in the same week? Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't experience that with Xbox because I had set my home console beforehand, but that shouldn't have to be something that people remember to do in order for their digital games to work. I'm sorry, it's just so ridiculous that has to be a manually enabled thing. Especially because I believe that for Xbox One in particular, you have to get an online update in order to be able to read games offline at all, because they added that hastily after the backlash. So,
I want to say, I would say with an Xbox One, if it's, you know, not, I think the newer systems being released for that probably come with newer firmware on there.
Well, they do, but you still have to update it on the internet. I mean, that's just consoles at this point. But
I mean, yeah, it's not like the original 2013 firmware that's coming on those these days.
And hey, if your account gets banned, due to a hack, at least there is some legal recourse, because one guy in Brazil won a lawsuit and is getting his account back, hopefully. And hopefully at least some compensation. I don't know if, like, he'll be extra compensated for any games he lost or what the... Yeah, this is in Brazil. And the argument was over $400 in some video games, and Microsoft had a dozen lawyers to try and intimidate him, I guess. But
yeah, you don't want to set a precedent, so they probably had all their big legal team on that one.
Yeah, just like how Meta and YouTube recently brought their 8th team of lawyers to argue that, oh, you know, that this girl getting addicted to social media is actually her fault.
Yeah.
But that has set a precedent now, because then this will create what's known as mass action suits, according to Legal Eagle. And that just means it's a precedential suit that will lead to others at some point. Or they could just, like, make their policies better to begin with. Ow! Well, our first death actually is not too bad.
Move out of the corner. Yeah. No, we've died already. We've had a couple.
I'd like at the same time that rebooted us both?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
It's just, it's quick, and the checkpoints are
this is true.
quicker than the original.
This is true. Anyway. Let's see, where are we going?
Great question. Oh, right here. Back to the side room here.
At least this is not as nearly as confusing to navigate as Doom Dark Ages Revelations. Which I am enjoying that a lot of the time. When Modern Doom works, it really works. Like, you just feel like a complete maestro organizing a symphony of death. But then, occasionally, you drop a bunch of balls, and it just seems like everybody piles on you. And it's like, can I not be having to tap my head and rub my belly at the same time? Can I just go back to the way that Doom used to be a little bit? Just without a confusing map. Because I was enjoying the gameplay of the classic Dooms, for sure. It's just a matter of... It's just a matter of them adding too much to the design overall. But I wish they had stuck with just the spear, because I was getting the hang of it, and then I had to remember the shield when it came back. I mean, that's not really a surprise. I think they've showed it off. They've showed both off in trailers. But I would say wait for a sale on this DLC if you're not, like, super sold on Modern Doom all the time. And it's particular...
I'm really not. I played through 2016 and, yeah, it was alright.
Not even Eternal? Huh.
No, I don't know.
Eternal's really where it got crazy with the resource juggling. I was able to do it just fine, because you know me, I really do love FPSs with movement tech. But it eventually gets exhausting to have to do a particular dance in a particular order. And Dark Ages tried to strip that back, but it took me about half the game to get decent at the shield mechanics, and then by the time I was really doing well, the game was over. So, like, at least by the time I started it, I was pretty decent at the shield, but then the shield breaks and you have to learn something new, and then the shield comes back and you have to learn both at the same time. And it's like, I'm surprised they fit this onto as many buttons as an Xbox controller has. But like, I'm still having fun. So, you know, if it's ever on sale, I guess like, if you don't like if you haven't even tried the main game, then that's not really it's not really going to change your mind on Modern Doom. But I hope that they, again, can do a stripped down version, because I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for even a first-person shooter franchise to be a little bit stripped down. I mean, look at what Warhammer 40,000 Bolt Gun did. Having Doom be the ultimate boomer shooter again would be really great. Just like stripped back and really interesting that way. But yeah, a lot of what sits wrong in my gut too, with everything going on, is that it's going to be harder to make the core franchises that Xbox is wanting to pivot to after all these layoffs. And we cannot let the people who have been laid off at Bethesda ever be forgotten. I mean, the problem is that if you don't buy games, then they get laid off anyway, but... Well...
Get clear, get clear.
Oh no!
Oh, sorry. Honestly, this isn't going too bad.
Yeah, I mean, the tutorial level in every game is obviously the easiest in any difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, this level's built like a quarter shooter.
Absolutely.
To kind of contrast the rest of the game. Most of the game, well, later on it becomes more of a quarter shooter again, but...
Yeah, with the library, which apparently got heavily reworked, including going down on the lift instead of up.
Oh, wow. That's new. Yeah, and I forgot to point this out when we first started, but it's interesting to me. The biggest change I've noticed, well, one of the bigger changes I've noticed was they don't give you the looking with the analog stick tutorial at the beginning. And I just find that interesting. It's like, well, duh, everyone knows how to use an analog stick to move their head in first person now, but that was not the case 25 years ago.
Not at all.
It's like, oh, I guess they figured like, 99% of players really don't need this tutorial anymore.
Well, 99% of players who are looking to pay $50 on PS5 for a remake of a game that has already been remade twice. You know, like, yes, it's new to PS5 players, but presumably those people would be fairly familiar with first-person shooters, or at least action games, and dual analog is not nearly as big of a novelty as it was at the release of this game, when you were lucky to get more than one analog stick at all. GoldenEye,
I remember I remember being at my friend's house and like doing that tutorial and be like, oh, this is like new and interesting, because my biggest points of comparison at the time were like Doom, Perfect Dark, and GoldenEye. So, you know, it was a new thing back in 2001, relatively.
That reminds me, I still need to play the Agent 64 Spies Never Die, I believe it's called, demo on Steam?
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
Okay, well, that bodes well. That was a bit of a cheeky move by me.
There's one last lifeboat.
There we go.
Before it launches.
Let me get a plasma rifle at least. And then be right behind you. I mean, definitely the biggest change I'm noticing is the lighting. Just like the... Not just the regular metallic lighting of the lights bouncing off the floors, but also the way that all these plasma weapons are projecting out light and it's reflecting and bouncing around. Like, that's the kind of thing that if they had it at the beginning of this gen, would have been like, oh yeah, this is what Xbox Series X can do. But it's on PS5. I mean, not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but now you've gotten a bunch of people interested in a franchise that will most likely skip PS5 because it's the big flagship exclusive, and you're asking people to pay potentially $1,000 to experience that, or pay a recurring monthly fee, or now I'm thinking about this, play for an hour at a time with ads.
Look.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like some of the headlines about it were like, oh, it's like, it's not my favorite thing, but I'm also someone who's, you know, I plan on continuing to subscribe, and I'm also not like a big cloud user, so it doesn't really, it's not something I'll probably ever have to engage with much, if at all.
Yeah,
But like,
totally.
I think it sounds pretty reasonable. It sounds pretty similar to what, like, I know GeForce Now at points has done similar, right?
Well, okay, so they only
Like,
do the
limited
hour
use.
limit, but no ads. This is the first time that
Yeah.
we are getting ads before a gameplay experience. And they made sure to mention, we're not altering the gameplay experience, we're not interrupting your gameplay with ads because you're only doing an hour at a time. That kind of makes sense. It's just that, as I discussed on a subreddit,
I knew it. The autumn's accelerating.
the development of
Manual.
radio, TV, all of that was definitely very ad-based. So when it came home to own, it was much later as well because of the way technology progressed at the time. Because of the intensity of technological development needed to have playable video games, the best way to monetize them at the time was arcades. And then the home versions were really expensive for the... Well, I guess now. or they could be, if they weren't poorly made slop. But the point was that games didn't start out with ads like other media. And so it feels uniquely wrong to a lot of people, and I think that also has to be acknowledged. To have an ad before a game. However, I don't really see how the economics of a free cloud-based service works without that. I think possibly it's that they're testing it for the games that you own that is rubbing people the wrong way as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a small subset of Game Pass users who actually care to do that, for one thing, and are insiders who are willing to test that out. So, and it makes sense to test on a small number of games at first.
Yeah, I just personally don't really, if they can stick to it being unobtrusive in the way that they're saying it should be,
Chief.
then like I don't
Can you hear
really
me?
have much of a problem with it. And as long as
Are you
it's
all right? Can you move?
as long as it's not something where it creeps into like the paying customers, you know, like
The others.
I'm paying for Game Pass monthly. I don't want this to turn into a situation where it turns into like Amazon Video where they're like, oh, never mind, everyone's going to get ads now regardless of whether you're subscribed. So
Yeah, well,
I hope
Prime
it doesn't
Video,
creep into that.
Prime had the customer base to be able to do that because they figured that a lot of people are just old and don't want to cancel the way that they get their groceries in 2 days without having to pay for shipping.
Alert.
Right now, my parents are fine with the ads, but I use Play on Cloud specifically in order to be able to skip them. That's an app where you completely legitimately record over a streaming service. It rents a server, and then what you do is you buy credits in a pack. One movie or one episode of a TV show costs a credit. There's also a subscription that gives you about 30 credits a month. And it's been working really well for me. I just binged X-Men 97 this way. And that's been really good. The second season of that.
There's nothing we can do.
For a very generic time travel story. The thing is, without going into spoilers, they do that pretty well.
Alert.
By focusing on the emotions of the characters. The emotion of time travel movies is not about fixing the past, but about realizing the past isn't meant to be fixed. Or the future, in this case. And, again, that was done pretty well. But anyway.
Warning, I've detected incoming Banshee fighters.
Oh, and speaking of small numbers of games, Xbox backward compatibility on PC. let's really get into it.
I mean that's a good sign to me that like there's still signs of life there. I hope that there's like it's great that they're doing stuff for PC. I do hope that like eventually more stuff is done for console as well, just 'cause that's where I'm at. But yeah, I'm always happy to see it. And again, like the 4 games they announced aren't necessarily like, you know, barn burners. I guess Crimson Skies is cool. Jade Empire is one of them, right? Or am I making that
No,
up?
I think you're making that up.
Oh, what am I thinking?
It is okay. Blink
okay.
the Time Sweeper.
Right, Blink.
Conquer,
Fusion
Live and
Frenzy.
Reloaded, Fusion
Right.
Frenzy, and then
Yeah,
Crimson
yeah.
Skies.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so those, you know, like I would say of those, Crimson Skies would probably be the one most people would be okay with going back to. And even then, like, I don't know, like I think it's a good start, but I hope that they do a lot more with it if they are going to really redouble their efforts toward backwards compatibility.
Like licensing is a real problem here, and so I could absolutely see them trying to renegotiate that for Helix, like to get more games out for launch. But it seems like for now the backwards compatibility team is really being refocused on making sure the 600 existing games work on PC and console for Helix.
Yeah, like I wouldn't expect any like new announcements PC wise that aren't already on console, at least not in the near term. Like I'm expecting to just keep trickling out whatever they can get on PC. Probably just it'll be interesting to see if they eventually do get to Xbox 360. That'll be interesting.
Well, they
Like,
have
right now,
confirmed that it's an emulator within an emulator structure, so it's physically possible at least. And I believe that was similar to how they did it on console as well, because the Xbox 360's backwards compatibility solution was basically Rosetta, for those who don't know, and that was an x86 to PowerPC translator layer that they did for macOS when they switched to that, and then they just went to apps. They went to Intel. But yeah, so basically it's an emulator and an emulator and an emulator, emulatorception.
Yep.
And so I could absolutely see that. What I think might be easier when it comes to entitlements is just the Xbox 360 version gives you the PC version for free on the Microsoft Store. For like the Fallouts, for example. It would be really cool to have a free version of Fallout New Vegas for PC that would obviously run better. Not sure what the mod support is like for the Microsoft Store version of Fallout New Vegas, but that would be one I'd be very interested in. However, I have tested out Crimson Skies. That's the only game I've got into, because that's the only game I was interested in. Because I have been hankering to play split screen or system link of this game with somebody for years. I tried it out at one person's house with System Link with a disc that I got him for his Xbox 360. It functionally worked, but the problem was that there was a weird bug on my Xbox One X at the time where the bottom half of my screen was a complete pixelated mess. So basically, it had to be 3 people who played, which was weird. But I hope that's fixed for at least Helix. I just have no idea how that'll work out. But because I have a mini PC, it'll be way easier to test this. So I'm super stoked about that. Same with Conquer's Live and Reloaded. It would be really great to finally experience a System Link game with my friend Billy with his Series S. But it's nothing to write home about other than it's the same 30 FPS at 480p that was on the original Xbox. Like, it runs exactly how you would expect, and nothing more. Would it have been nice if they enhanced it? Sure. But
maybe that'll come down the road. I think they're just trying to get the thing working at this point.
I think the problem is that FPS boosts and the like have really not proven all that popular. They do provide benefits for the hardcore, but yeah, it seems like just getting the games running at all is more of the priority, which is fine. I am fine with that. These are hardworking people who are so back. Let me just finally overwhelm this guy. Oh goodness.
Yeah, this bit goes on for a little while.
It seems like it's slightly longer than the last time.
Same.
Okay.
I think so.
Right, yeah. Okay.
It's like, I want to say it's at least like 5 full waves. And this was kind of the impetus for when they started thinking about a PvE mode. They're like, oh, this was kind of like proto firefight almost when they introduced that.
I could see that. I mean, a lot of the enemy AI in campaign is used in firefight, so that makes perfect sense. It's a good way to test that sort of thing out, for sure. But yeah, the only quirk with the version of Crimson Skies for PC, which is like wild to say, still, is that when recording it using the game bar. And I had this similar issue with Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. It forced the recording into a tiny, tiny corner. Because it was taking my entire monitor's resolution and then, like, not scaling properly for the recording. Even though it filled out the TV, which, again, I hope that doesn't die due to falling down. Please. But yeah, it just looks like a weird little pixelated thing. I'll have the full gameplay uploaded after I manage to fix it. But that'll involve cropping, and it'll look terrible. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to record with the default game bar. However, I think that just old PC games are not great for recording sometimes. Because again, I had this issue with Jurassic Park Operation Genesis using Streamlabs, which is an entirely different recorder. So it's just that I think some of these games were just not meant to be recorded at this resolution, or at all. Still, fingers crossed for more backwards compatibility news when it comes to consoles. I'm sorry, I'm being a complete idiot.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
Oh, you're dead too. Okay.
I thought the
right.
Was that being a complete idiot was a giveaway. But, well, here we go. That was a bit early.
Yeah, I just had to kill the last grunt here, then that dropship comes in. Unfortunately, I really don't have a ranged weapon right now. I'm not sure if there's like a sniper rifle available yet. I know the battle rifles in this game too.
Well, you can always take allies' weapons. I'm near a
I grabbed an SMG. I haven't seen one with a sniper or a battle rifle yet. That's alright, I'll just get in there with it. It's so weird having an SMG in Halo 1 though.
I can see that. So it was definitely a creation of Halo 2. For sure, to fill that, like, mid-range role in a different way than the Needler or the Plasma Rifle or other sub-assault rifle weapons. And, of course, was great for the dual-wielding mechanic at the time. I was curious about that, but it doesn't seem like they have put that in.
I don't think dual-wielding's in here. I think I would have probably seen it by now.
Would it have been cool? Sure. Is it entirely necessary? No. That's also a separate system to implement. In a game that has a few changes. Oh, I was about to tell you!
Yeah.
Well, good to experience this Halo-y chaos with you. Because the more things change, the more they stay the same. And it's... Well, I mean... It's definitely a lot harder now that we're on the ground. So, for future plays of this game, I'm totally fine with doing heroic, but it's much more hilarious this way.
I mean, we're doing pretty well, honestly. We're like once we're past these waves, like once we have the Warthog, we're like probably at the halfway point almost. Maybe more like 1/3 of the way through this mission, but this is a pretty long mission.
Ouch! I am dead.
I recommend
Okay.
that you stay near the tower
Stay
and
like
wait for extraction.
Okay.
There we go.
At least it's a lot less fiddly about respawning me next to you as well than I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Like maybe the radius is a little bit tighter away from enemies or something like that.
Yeah, it might
like
be.
smaller. I'm not sure.
No, plasma pistol's not my favorite.
There
but
is
what
not
I've got.
mantling. That's fine as well.
Yeah.
It's just something to keep in mind. For all the people who will complain about modern movement and blah blah.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely softened my opinion on sprint in the past. Like, Infinite got it right, and this game I think does it right too. So
Oh yeah, and for more on our deep take on that, you can check out our original stream of Halo MCC's Combat Evolved Anniversary port in the link. Anyway, let's get to the Warthog then.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how the driving feels, so I'd like to do that at first.
Look, more lifeboats.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. I
coming
mean,
in
it
fast.
feels pretty much the same,
Those
honestly.
lifeboats
There is
look down,
actually like
and they're
a
right on top
secondary option to like have it be more like other games, but that just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, let me try it. Let's see.
Survivors will
Gameplay.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the control options.
We need to find where the
Crosshair.
lifeboats
Lots of crosshair options, actually.
are. My topographical scans indicated
Who would want to turn off hit markers, but hey.
It looks like our best route is
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
It
Controller?
might be in the controller settings.
Warthog control. Driver
yeah.
based, I
You
think.
can set it. Yeah.
Yeah, this would
You
be
can set it to that if you really want.
This will fix a huge complaint that I've always had with Halo driving, of it feeling like I'm just skating on ice.
Well,
Oh yeah, this feels 1,000
You pick
times
up,
better.
If there's a marine did we kill all the marines or is there one left over? Well, we'll
You
get
may
more in the next
rescue the
section, I
Marines,
guess.
right? You're not supposed to kill the Marines, dude.
I mean, did we get them all killed? Is what I mean. Because we could
Uh,
take one in the passenger seat
Oh, well,
if there are
okay.
any left.
Let's see.
If not, then I didn't see any on our radar, so they might have all died in that skirmish.
Seems like it.
I have a feeling, yeah, especially on Legendary, it's tough to keep them alive. I have a feeling we're going to have a very low success rate in this next part. in terms
Yeah,
of,
sorry,
fatalities.
Lemons. You're going to your doom. It could
Yep.
still feel a little spinny. This car and
Natural formation.
doesn't have a lot of
Someone
traction,
built it,
but
so it
Yeah.
must
it's a lot better to at least have that
I've hacked into the
acceleration
capcom
on the trigger like literally every other driving game I've ever played.
running encrypted channels. We should show them who they're dealing with.
Well, I mean, obviously this isn't a driving game, but still, it's nice that they have that option, finally.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something I would ever use, but I'm glad it's
I
there
should be
still.
able to analyze their defensive
Hey, to each their own, right?
you when I find something of interest.
Let me
Yeah,
see
it's got
here.
25 years of muscle memory with it. Yeah, let's just stay back a little bit here, because these guys can swarm pretty easily. I can
Yeah.
pick a bunch of them off.
Yeah, let me know if I'm too far back or anything, but
Nope. Oh, I forgot they're on the other side too. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can just pick them off pretty easily, honestly. We're back here. Might
Well,
take a
to-
little time, and it's a little bit tedious, but it's doable. I think once we thin them out a bit, maybe you can try getting in there and running some over. Up to you.
yeah,
I mean, the
We'll
one
see.
nice thing about this game, and I think they really couldn't change this due to the way this game is designed, is that the Warthog is invincible. So,
Oh, interesting.
you don't have to worry about losing the Warthog. Yeah, because if you think about this mission in particular, and a couple other sections in the game expects you to have this Warthog the rest of this mission. So, like, if you
Oh,
were to
yeah.
lose a Warthog,
Huh.
it would just turn this whole mission into a giant slog.
Yeah, I
And
could
this
see
really
that
is
being a problem.
designed to be done on foot. So I think like that was probably part of their consideration in terms of like keeping the Warthog invincible. I don't think they could really get away with changing that. You can inch up a little bit. I can't really get shots on anyone. Okay, there we go.
Wow! They can't EMP you, though! That's
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
the turrets still work. So.
At
There
least
we
there's
go.
that. And speaking
I
of to
think
each their own,
Got
did
about-
you see a bunch of people flooded the Marvel's Wolverine story trailer with comments about how Wolverine was fighting for a piece of physical media, i.e. a photo of him and I believe Jean Grey. It's like, or no, maybe somebody else, but who cares? I'm not gonna play that game.
Okay.
It's just like, well,
I think I got most of them.
the second most popular comment was a comment about how people were gonna buy this game on physical disc.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they actually get a. Oh, there's a lead. Let me back up. I'm dead. Just wait till I come back.
Yeah, totally.
This
I'm
is
fine
kind
with
of
operating the
game you have to
Warthog
play-
turret
Yeah,
again.
this
Till
is
then.
this is kind of the game you have to play on Legendary. Sometimes you just have someone go out there and do their best and let the other person be like an anchor or a spawn point.
Yup, that's Halo for you.
Yep. Alright, I think we've got
Glad
most
you
of
got a
them.
glow
There might
up.
be some more dudes up here. There might be some more dudes up here. I think there are.
Yeah, I think there are.
Yep. Hello. Hello. Yep.
This is
plenty of
definitely
them.
a place where the shotgun excels.
Yeah, I don't know if they give you a shotgun before this bit. But it would be helpful.
You know what? Maybe not
There we
until
go.
later, but like, yeah, I'm misremembering.
Yeah,
for
I want
sure.
to say they don't give you a shotgun. At least in the original, it could be rebalanced until
It could
like
be.
the 4th or 5th level.
That's like the library or so.
No, the assault on the control room. I'm pretty sure you
Oh.
get one by that level.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
That's
was.
there we go.
Well, it's good to refresh my memory
By the
of this
time-
game.
Yeah, but by the time they throw the flood at you, I think they start giving you shotguns because those are
And if you had
pretty
told
good
me,
for.
if you had
That's
told me in
important, right?
2006 or so when I was playing the Blood Gulch demo in the computer lab, that this would be what Halo looks like 20 years later, I would not have believed you at all. So, you know, at least I can bask a little bit in that, even if I can't feel entirely positive about this game, or even about all the announcements from Bethesda. Because like,
Yeah, that was
Fallout
the
5 in
weird
pre-production.
thing where they go from being dead silent on Fallout stuff to being like, oh, by the way, we've greenlit every single Fallout project. Everyone in the company's working on Fallout, by the way.
like how far along any of those were before they were disclosed to
Yeah.
the public is another thing.
Like, just getting out there and saying the word Fallout and saying, like, hey, we have remasters for this and this in development. Like, could they not have just at least shown a logo? I think that would have gone a long way towards,
Seriously?
towards, like, making this feel like a real thing. And, like, I think, you know, there's been plenty of scuttlebutt about the Fallout 3 remaster in particular. The past, like, I feel like that's been rumored for at least 4 or 5 years at this point. So I would have to imagine. Oh, we are sitting ducks. I need to get out of here. Oh.
Yeah, the
that's like-
Warthog's invincible, but you're not.
Yeah.
Oops.
I feel like they would have to lead with that Fallout 3 remaster, and I'd have to hope that it's far enough along that it can be like out there in the next year or two.
That would be nice, especially to time with the show.
Yeah.
When it's
'Cause
in
that's
its season
been
3.
That's been the biggest thing, is like they have this wildly popular Fallout show. Oh yeah, and take out those jackals on the cliff up there. You can see them.
Got
Those
one.
guys can be tricky on Legendary. All right. Okay.
Shackles are just gonna be a pain in the butt, no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're talking about for Halo anyway.
I'm not the biggest Fallout fan, so it's not something that I am following closely. Just kind of hearing like, oh, they're, you know, because like the initial rumor I remember was that there was an Oblivion remake or remaster and a Fallout 3 remaster. And the Oblivion remaster happened, and so
Yeah.
now it's just like, okay, Fallout can't be that far behind. I would imagine if they're kind of doing it the same way they did the Oblivion one.
Well, doing it now, announcing these now, does not really bode well for the conspiracy theories that people have had that this is, and this is endorsed by the union, that this is just a way to distract from the layoffs. A.
Oh, it definitely is.
And
Yeah.
and B, that like Asha Sharma smacks some senior leaders in Bethesda, including Todd Howard, to get on these games already, and that's when they started it. Like, again, we do not know how far along these projects are. Some of them may have been just decided yesterday, though,
Yeah,
from the way
like
they worded it.
the one that sounds extremely far out is the Josh Sawyer one, because it sounded like he had a whole other thing going on, and it sounds like they just recently... Alright, let me abandon this delete.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounded like he had a Fallout New Vegas-ish game, but not Fallout, that he was working on, and then suddenly it's like, oh, now we're doing Fallout. And I would have to imagine that they're not just abandoning that work that they did on that other game wholesale. Maybe they're able to like retrofit some of it into the Fallout universe.
Or at least they can
Maybe that's the plan.
Incorporate their engine learnings at least. Because they probably will have to scrap a lot of assets if it's not cleverly integrated into a Fallout aesthetic somehow. Because otherwise people will get mad, is my fear. But, like, I think it'll be somewhat similar to how Forza Tech was handled for Fable, where it was originally for Playground Games. It was originally a chance to create an original IP, and then Phil Spencer was like, hey, can you rework this to be Fable? Back in 2016, and now we're finally getting this game in 2027. On PS5 as well. A day and then like a day before the early access is godofwar laufey. It's the release date, which is wild.
Yeah, that's gonna be a stacked time.
Over there.
Yeah, I think February is becoming the new September. At least for 2027. Just because this has just been creating a whole domino effect. First it was the pandemic delaying everything. Then it was GTA 6 delaying everything. And now it's still GTA 6 delaying everything.
Yeah, like, I think even well after GTA 6 releases, there's still going to be the reverberation of, like, okay, if GTA 6 is out, you know, in the fall, people aren't going to want to release too close to it still, maybe even avoid Black Friday this year. And then people aren't going to want to release in December. People also generally don't like releasing in January. So I think
except for some sort of Godzilla game. They're taking on GTA.
Oh yeah, the remake of Destroy All Monsters Melee. I'm excited for that.
Okay, well,
that great.
That'll be a stacked November.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, given on some days I would probably rather play Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee than GTA games.
Well, you know, I'd be totally fine playing that with you if you end up getting it.
It is a fantastic game. Yeah. I'll still probably end up buying GTA and be part of the problem, but you know.
Yeah, and then I'll be part of the problem as the commentariat class. That's just the nature of being an online content creator sometimes, in order to be part of the conversation. But we'll see. If you don't get it at launch, I can take a principled stand. Because even though the online will release later, and there's another video on screen right now that will get into more details about why, but basically, the only reason I care to play GTA at all is for the multiplayer with you, my main multiplayer bud. After my GTA 5 online crew was just, they're gone. I wouldn't even pay for Game Pass most of the time at all either if I didn't have to pay for online multiplayer with you.
Area secure.
So you should hurry up and get a PC. No, just kidding.
I mean, this isn't quite on the level of a modern PC, but I am close to getting my aynthor. It's literally in a shipping center in Connecticut, so.
Oh, okay, nice.
It'll be any day now. It's a little frustrating because it like arrived at a Connecticut shipping center about 45 minutes for me, and it's been there for like 5 days. I'm just like, come on, can we just expedite this a little bit?
Yeah, that can definitely happen.
I was so much hoping, because I have these 2 days off. I'm like, oh, if it could show up on one of those 2 days, I have like everything ready. I have an external drive that just has basically everything I need to set it up. Should be a fairly easy setup. and just
Yeah.
get going with it. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, if you get it anytime in the next couple of
Now-
weeks, I could see myself
I'm dead.
making a show about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Or at least
like,
part.
you know, I'm not going into it expecting to be playing many modern PC games. It'll run some lo-fi, you know, it'll run a Slay the Spire or Vampire Survivors, no problem. But you know, I'm not going into it expecting to run much modern stuff. Although it does punch above its weight in some ways. I've definitely seen people. You have to tinker with it, but you can get things running like that you wouldn't expect to be running on there.
Speaking of expecting to run, the one slight conspiracy theory that I have when it comes to Helix is that it may not allow you to boot out into a complete Windows desktop mode. They didn't say that when they said that your PC games would be supported. They just said PC games would be supported. So...
Oh, dead again. Watch for the jackal on your left.
Because the problem is, if you have this complete PC environment, why would fucking anybody pay for multiplayer if you can get the Xbox on PC versions of practically every Xbox exclusive for free still with the same Game Pass subscription? What is the advantage then of the console environment? But what would make sense is consoleizing a couple other PC storefronts and then having that be the competition to the Microsoft store. So basically, I'm thinking the entire Helix environment could be completely sandboxed. And it's not like you can like put in your DOS games from 1995 situation here. It's just hey, you got a bunch of free games from Epic? Cool. You have the Helix version. And the cross entitlement or something like that.
Yeah, I could see them going that route for sure if they want to keep the sandbox that they have in some form.
The very profitable sandbox that they have with paid multiplayer. Though, for $1,000, it better be a really damn good box if you're going to force paid online multiplayer again.
Yeah, it better be the greatest sandbox ever built.
Or this is when they finally get rid of that paywall. Because for a bunch of free-to-play games, they already have that paywall down. The problem being that the entire console market is completely pressured this way. Because, well, free-to-play games are ecosystems in and of themselves a lot of times. Including for Republican politicians to prey on girls. Did you see that about Roblox? Ugh.
No, but that doesn't sound surprising.
Yeah, well, there's benefits to not being the political junkie like me.
Word on the Covenant battle mat is
And that you don't get to see the horrors of humanity quite so much.
Sounds like we made quite an impression.
I mean, really, it's just Republican at this point.
Find the other two life.
And he's a representative in West Virginia in the highly contested House election. So, he's toast. I mean, you could probably just literally pick up any old coal miner, and if they're in the Republican Party, they could probably win in West Virginia. Joe Manchin was the only Democrat who could win statewide for a reason. He was very much a Democrat in name only on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But he wasn't voting with the Republicans on the most heinous things. So maybe we get at least a normal person who doesn't lure 15-year-old girls on Roblox for sex. Like that is just ridiculous.
You're still going to be getting Republicans in there, so
yeah. Well, this is what you get with SunnyRedemption Sailing. It's BS-free gaming news and BS-free on everything else. So, sorry if I'm being frank, but I'm never planning on monetizing this channel anyway.
Let's go the other way. See if that does us any better.
Oh, and that reminds me as well, thinking of unfairness, an unfair labor practice charge has been slammed against Microsoft for barely giving the union any notice.
Yep.
So
sounds like a corporation to me.
It's gonna be a fight in the court system, potentially, because I don't think the NLRB is home right now, because the fucking dictator decided to get rid of a bunch of them. And so a lot of these multi-member advisory boards do not have a quota to operate at all, including the entire Election Assistance Commission, which, to be frank, was kind of redundant to the FEC, and I wish they would have merged. But at the same time, I have a friend who works at FEC, and I'm very worried about all that. You know, some good news, though, is that a developer called Creepy Brothers has been hard delisted from the store by Microsoft. Meaning, all of the games that they've published that people have bought cannot be re-downloaded for any reason. If you uninstall them at all.
Sorry, I was going to make a hacky joke about it. Sounds like Andrew Tate's development company.
Well, yeah. That is being left high and dry right now. Good fucking riddance to trash, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, boo-hoo, you're struggling right now? Well, maybe being a hateful grifter only works for so long. And you actually have to, like, develop real opinions now. Or, you know, maybe don't sex traffic girls in Romania, but anyway.
That would also go a long way.
So, Creepy Tail 2, and Strikeforce Kitty had been hard delisted due to a dispute with the publisher called No Gravity Games, which has violated the terms of its agreement and not paid the developer royalties for several years.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, this industry is going to shit in a handbasket because developers are getting stiffed like this by publishers. I do have to mention that Nuance Slop Schreier, as he jokingly calls himself after somebody else called him that, Jason Schreier, did give people a primer on how developer-publisher relationships are supposed to typically work. You know, milestones and deliverables and all that. Marketing support, things like that. And he said, I think he takes a bit too neutral of a stance on all this.
Oh, by
apparently.
The way, yeah, I noticed the Warthog getting damaged. I did this whole section and didn't have it blow up.
Huh.
I assumed it was invincible.
It says you left the fire team as well, which is weird.
Oh, that's concerning. Yeah, I'm on a loading screen. Now it says disconnected from hosts.
Okay.
Well, is there a way for you to invite me mid? Can I join mid-game?
Let me try.
I don't see a play option.
I'm just being careful not to accidentally invite you to party again.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's saying I can join you, but I can't invite you. So try and see if there's an option on my gamer tag to join.
No, there isn't. I just looked. That's so weird.
That is incredibly weird. Let me try ending the mission. That's a weird early access bug.
Weird. Yeah, because I'm still connected online and everything. I don't know.
Your progress will be lost. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know how far that goes back because, like, it is checkpointing pretty often, and I know there's rally points you can start from.
Yeah,
I think. So, I guess just...
Yeah, I'll just invite you the old-fashioned way.
Oh, now you're enjoying the game. Okay.
Yeah, I think that when in mission, you can't do that, which is weird.
Yeah.
But again, I could join you, which is also weird. Because I guess you hadn't started yet. You know what? That would make sense.
Yeah, because I was back in the menus. That's why. Yeah.
Okay, well. Let's see. It says play co-op.
So if there's at least a checkpoint...
it is a complete progress loss.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, well...
Bonus missions it is, then.
Yeah, we can start one of those. I don't know if we'll have time to finish one, because I'm probably going to want to get to bed soon.
Yeah, I mean...
Let's at least maybe just see the opening of it and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's weird. All of it.
But I'm assuming we won't be able to finish this in, like, 10 minutes.
I don't think so, either. Let me just see what other news items I've been missing. Oh, that they took away health insurance for the laid off devs that they had announced Fallout 5. That Microsoft. 1 year before the Halo event. So we've got a Star Wars style opening crawl in Halo, but not in Star Wars this year. Because they didn't do that for Mandalorian and Grogu. I mean, that was a tiny problem, but that was a problem for sure. Anyway. Oh yeah, Tomb Raider Catalyst. Delayed another year. Honestly.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. Okay.
I'm pretty meh about all that. It's like stuff with the shenanigans with my beloved Tomb Raider. I'm trying not to support the game because it does AI, but like, this is the new game in the franchise that really defined me as a gamer starting in 2013. You know, cinematic action, great characters, and a really interesting world. And it only got better from there with Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider was a slight downgrade. Like, there was barely any combat in that game. But I did really enjoy that, especially the co-op dungeons with you.
Yeah, those were good time.
Yeah, so... Oh yeah, well... Total social media blackout for Sony appears to have been lifted, but they're still really not talking about this. I'm just hoping it'll go away. Which is why it's really interesting that there's a Blackout PlayStation week coming up at the end of August. Yeah. I mean,
I've never been really convinced of the efficacy of a lot of these sort of mass sort of boycott sort of things, but I mean, hey, I can't blame people for trying.
Well, yeah, I mean, it again is very difficult because when not giving money to video game developer, that's just a lost sale, and then the CEOs never get fucking punished for that.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, in the vast majority of the cases of these boycott situations within the industry, they don't really ever seem to learn the right lesson from them. If they ever even, like, work. The ones that actually, like, have a provable impact, I don't think the publishers actually say, oh, let's fix this. They just look for someone to blame.
Well, that was because it's been a while since the last one worked, and the last one worked when it came to the Xbox One because it crippled an entire platform and enabled the rise of a monopolist in the terms of Sony. And their disc trailer is still up from 2013. They haven't taken it down or privated it or anything. So
yeah, I think they wouldn't do that because that would just generate more negative headlines and just leaving it up and letting it be
absolutely
there.
Which is why they're also trying to generate more positive press by saying, oh, we're confirming God of Warlaufey for February 16, 2027, and a new God of War game with Kratos is in development. Like, I don't get the people who were like, oh no, Kratos isn't in this. But we also went over that more in our video on Marathon, so check that out, please. And be sure to subscribe to SunnyRedemption Daily for your BS3 bi-weekly voyage for BS3 gaming news. Anyway,
let's see. We keep quiet and play our cards right, we'll be in, out, and back by dinner.
Yeah, let's see if we can have this be an in and out 7-minute mission. Probably not.
Somehow I doubt it, but you know.
Yeah, I just got Rick and Morty on the brain because I saw the season finale of that, and it was pretty good. I mean, the season 9 has been very uneven. It's been less uneven than other seasons, though. However, the emotional gut punch that was there, like, that they were going for, it was fine. I understood it. It's just like, after treading water since at least season 5 at the end of Evil Morty, I believe, though it's been a while. And I'm just going off the top of my head here. So don't at me.
Your calm's down,
It's...
stay back until I drop that shield.
Oh, stay back until you drop the shield. Oh, dear.
Okay. Nope, there's elites. There's elites.
Of course there is. Ah. At least we had the battle rifle from the drop. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Are you still waiting?
Oh no, it's open now.
Okay, good. Just throwing a grenade from a distance.
Yeah, this game plays great. I'm really excited to play through
Oh!
it. And, like, it's been a while since I've done a full campaign playthrough. Probably since like 20. Oh, maybe did we ever finish a playthrough? We've started several of Halo 1.
Yeah, but
I don't know if we ever made it through one, but yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, so my thinking is if there's not a ton of gaming news, then we can just play this a bunch in private for a few weeks.
Yeah.
But
yeah, sure.
I'm also happy to have this be the background for the next couple of shows as well, and just keep playing this on our off times and just really see the differences. And speaking of long journeys, the Odyssey. I knew I was forgetting something.
Oh yeah.
So, thoughts?
I was overall very positive on it. Like I thought it was. I mean, it's directed by Nolan, obviously. Like he's always just killer at that part. Well edited, well directed. Like one of those movies that did not feel like its length. Like I was.
Oh
never,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, I very few like lulls in or downtime to where I'm like, oh, could be. You know, the pacing felt great. The like, you know, acting was obviously stellar. Especially, I think Robert Pattinson, especially, was like.
Oh yeah, he stole every scene that he was in.
How he would play that character, because I've seen other adaptations, and it's like, you know, you can kind of play him a little bit smarmy, or you can play him kind of like a little back conniving. I think he hit such a good balance with that, and I thought.
Yeah, I completely understood where he was coming from too, even if I didn't like him, because he got his chance to have glory robbed from him, so he wants to steal somebody else's valor. That makes perfect sense as a motivation. Yeah. I can see criticisms that the Ithaca sections take up too much of the movie. Mainly, though, that's the exposition dump scenes between Telemachus and Penelope.
I mean, those are necessary to have the build-up to the finale.
Absolutely, you know, and if you had the gods...
Odysseus there...
And if you had the gods there, half their role is exposition dumping to other gods about what's going on that you just heard about. So that would be a real problem. But that does eliminate about half the female characters too, and reduces the agency of, or like it reduces the impact as well of Odysseus's trickery. I understand though why Nolan went with this demythification, even if it's not quite as thorough of a demythification as Troy, which I also saw since it's now free to watch on YouTube with ads.
Yeah.
And I have ad-free with premium.
Yeah, I never cared for that movie, honestly. I saw it when I was little, and maybe I saw it in school, I don't know. But
yeah, you definitely saw it in school. I saw it when I was 12, and it was... Yeah. It definitely has its problems, highfalutin dialogue being among them, but it's ironically more fitting in a lot of instances than the way that Nolan goes about it. Still, I think that Sean Bean would have been a better Odysseus. I really like what mattdamon's take is, a more wounded and solitary take on the character.
Yeah,
but he definitely feels like a background character sometimes in his own movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played it very... He had his own take on it that I
exactly.
didn't like well enough. Like, I think Sean Bean would have probably done something totally different, which would have been good, but I like what Matt Damon did overall with it.
Yeah, it's not taking away from his acting chops at all. I think that what happened is that a lot of rough edges of Odysseus's character had to be sanded off in order to become an appealing hero to the entire world because of the pressures of a $250 million blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make at least 600 million to break even. And it's on track to do that. It's on track to become a $1 billion blockbuster.
I went to like an 8 a.m. showing or something like that, and there was a line out the door.
It definitely was hard to find seats that weren't right up against the big show screen at my Alamo.
Yeah.
But I'm going again this Saturday with friends at the IMAX showing there.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be IMAX, because there are only 41 theaters in the entire world that can truly display IMAX. But it'll be a very strong, it'll be a very close resemblance. And that's fine, because I don't have the money to go out to like a real IMAX theater. Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we got an IMAX showing, which again is not the fancy 70mm, but still, you know, pretty good. And yeah, we got lucky. We had 2 seats that were like somewhat near the middle. Not the best seats in the house, but good enough. I'm not really picky with that stuff. So,
my seat was third from the screen, and that's like about the limit that I can do. And I'm going to do the same thing for, I think it's either the 3rd or 4th row that my friend got for all of us for the IMAX on Saturday.
Yeah, like, if I'm going to a movie solo, I will sit right up front, but I know a lot of people that's really not palatable, so if I'm going with someone else, I will, you know, because honestly, when I used to go to the movies with my dad, like, he liked the front, so I kind of just got used to it. Like, he'd always be like, oh, let's go in, like, the 2nd row or whatever. And I never really minded.
I think the only time that I've ever done something that close is for the 2nd time that I saw Way of Water, which was also in IMAX. And we'll probably also go out to Buffalo Wild Wings after this, or someplace nearby. The main problem when it comes to Odysseus' character, circling back for a second, is that he's just not as much of a charming rogue. I'm sorry. I understand, again, why, because if they were accurate to the story here, then people in, like, China or the Middle East would have walked out in protest, and there would have been massive censorship. Problem is that really flattens him, and also flattens Circe and Calypso. Even though, if you had them having sex with Odysseus and, like, him really seducing them, that would have been people's complaints too on a different section of the internet. There's the energy sword. Yes.
Yep.
That might be the main place where weapons that are anachronous to Halo 1 are.
Yeah, I mean, I also picked up a needle rifle earlier from Reach.
It feels like the Arbiter levels in Halo 2 to some degree.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
At least in terms of design, overall aesthetic, that kind of thing. But yeah, like, this is definitely my favorite movie so far this year, but that says more about the quality of other blockbuster movies than it does about the Odyssey being some perfect Shakespearean masterpiece. It's really good. If you're interested at all, definitely check it out. And I'm glad that more people, including me, are rereading the original story, because I will have a lot of more thoughts on the Odyssey in a video essay for my main podcast of History Flights. History Flights number 14, Nolan's American Odyssey. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you'd like to hear more about that. But as for the movie as an experience, well, I'll see how different the IMAX is, but I was really blown away by it as a technical product. Again, can't really fault Nolan for that. It's more so his characterization and writing, which is very technical, very dense, but at least this time is not super non-linear to the point of confusion. It's definitely non-linear to an extent, and it does fit with the cadence of the original poem from what I'm reading right now, based on a translation for the 1900s. Not the Wilson one, but an earlier one that was like 99 cents to get. I mean, again, it's the gods exposition dumping. It's the narrator exposition dumping about the gods exposition dumping. It is very exposition dumpy. And you're just going to have to get used to that when it comes to Greek mythology, because these stories were told. And the most interesting theme for me, unfortunately, from this, even though it comes from one of those highfalutin lines that I don't typically like, but can be really great in specific moments with Nolan, like the night is just darkest just before the dawn, you know, very theatrical, but fitting, is they will write songs about those of us who could write, roughly paraphrasing here, because I'm also reading this screenplay that you can purchase separately.
We're good. Let's hustle.
In order to be able to get direct quotes and stuff. But yeah, it's unfortunately very true.
Negative.
It's possible that reading as a skill is just unnatural to humanity, and we've just been working at it for 500-ish years, and now for many people they're regressing to a mean. And maybe that's fine, but we should at least have the majority of the population functionally literate. Like, maybe not...
They look more like...
Maybe we don't need to have every single classic of Western canon force-fed down every high schooler's throat, but I definitely appreciate it now. You know, it's important to get more different types and different types of literature out there that people love, and to you know, get people who look like you. Like, I don't obviously get the stupid racism around Helen, but a huge problem with the way that the movie depicts Helen is, and this is of course spoilers because we've been spoiling the movie throughout, is that she's basically a pure victim. I do not remember that being in the original poem for her. She is depicted as having been disfigured by Menelaus so that he can make a dumb joke about only 500 ships this time. And I get it. It makes sense. However, the fact of the matter is that you now have a token black character who barely appears in the movie, and mainly is there to be a less pretty face. Like, you're taking Lupita Nyong'o and doing this? Like, she does get a little bit more to do as Clytemnestra, her half-sister in the original mythology, because Helen was literally born from an egg after Zeus slept with her mom in the form of a swan. No wonder Western sexuality is fucked up.
Are you not impressed?
Don't worry, Harmony is protected by plot armor, I think.
Would appreciate such steadfast dedication.
It seems like this is short enough that we were able to complete it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the end of the mission or if there's a boss fight coming up. It feels, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're too far in to back down now, I guess, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't technically have to be up super early. I just would like to be, so, you know, I'll give it a few more minutes. If this is kind of wrapping it up, then... Because I'll be playing this solo at some point, too.
Okay, yeah. I definitely want to do that, too, if only to... like, establish progress at all? I don't know what the fuck was going on with that. I created the game, I invited you, and it just wiped the entire game. Not even loading missions? What the fuck?
So weird.
And this is something that people should be aware of for the Game Pass launch, that as of time of recording is happening in an hour. Really worth the $20 for early access. Well, again, there was no way of knowing when you would be available, because, and that's not your fault or anything like that. It's just, yeah. Anyway.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're on the clock.
Yeah, I'm surprised they let him monologue as much as they did anyway.
Okay, well, they're introducing brutes, which is new for Halo 1.
Yeah. It's a very interesting way to introduce them, too, because didn't brutes later go on to form the Banished after a rebellion, after the Covenant Civil War? So this establishes from the beginning that these brutes were very unwilling and were very much dominated. Because the Covenant is just a bunch of different alien factions in a trench coat, and they enforce their rule through collective punishment. So that's just, you know, fun to think about. Also fun to think about as a last thought for the Odyssey is the context of the Bronze Age collapse. Because at the time, in 1177 BC or so, it was a highly trade-dependent society with lots of international connections and a couple of superpowers rivaling over the Levant. In the form of the new Kingdom of Egypt, which barely survived the Sea People invasion. And I thought that was really interesting how they handled that in the Odyssey, where they were like, well, a lot of Greek warriors became mercenaries and pirates due to the collapse of central governments in the Mycenaean loose system of kingdoms. What the main thing was that it was based on a palatial economy where a certain amount of resources was collected by the palace, then stored centrally, and then redistributed centrally as well. When the productivity of the land became a problem because of climate change, from, I believe, Greenland, I'd have to look it up, but with Greenland, like, growing in its Arctic ice sheets, the climate dropped by as much as 5 degrees, if I remember correctly. And that meant that agriculture became more difficult. So, the problem is that the Odyssey doesn't really acknowledge that Telemachus is kind of fucked if this is happening when the Sea People invasion is happening. Because the Sea Peoples were not the main killer of Bronze Age civilization as they knew it at the time. It was just a symptom of the wider collapse of people, you know, fleeing major cities because they couldn't sustain large populations anymore, of war over resources, all of which feels very eerily familiar. Ugh. And again, is not really acknowledged, other than a little bit at the end. I mean, I don't know if really having a downer ending with, like, Telemachus' palace getting raided would have worked, but maybe, just maybe, he ends up just quitting after the entire kingdom collapses anyway, and he can't feed people from the palace, and, like, actually leading people in a more humble way that breaks the cycle of royal power, because they had an interesting theme around that of, like, power and the way that people debase themselves to get it, of how Agamemnon, for all the ridiculousness of the helmet, that was very intentional. It was very much about establishing himself as the head of the army, as the driving force, and in Christopher Nolan's mind, as the center of the evil. I mean, that's what more people should be thinking about, is not placing collective blame on every country for every leader's decisions, but realizing that old-ass kings should not be making unilateral decisions. Just saying. Cough. Because we're probably going to lose progress on this anyway, at the next checkpoint, I'm fine with quitting and wrapping up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm doing all right.
Okay, if you let me know.
Sleep. It's a matter of, you know, I just don't know how long these missions are. So if it's going to go another hour, we can just wrap up.
I don't think that's how Halo missions are, usually.
Yeah, I mean, but these are brand new, so who knows?
Yeah, from what I understand, they're fairly short, but it's just I don't really know how short.
Yeah, so we've done quite a bit in this mission. So
because these are little samplers of potential future missions in a future Halo game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That well now are definitely invoking what's the level called? We're inside the Covenant ship. After getting
Nightfall.
up to thank you. I'm terrible with the names of these and the order, but I would never forget them as long as I live. Get smackadoodle, dude!
Oh. Oh, he got me too. I was trying to melee him.
Well, it
they're
appears
still up.
Johnson
Okay.
got him.
Yep.
Somehow I was alive despite being out in the open like that, but hey.
Right back.
Welcome back to the land of the living, clone of me. Anyway.
Ooh, let's try the spiker. Interesting, they got that in here.
Oh yeah, I've been really enjoying that.
It
Feels
was never
roughly
my favorite.
okay. It definitely sounds meatier now that I can hear that sound in isolation. Feels that way a little bit too. And I mean, it makes sense if you want to demonstrate that you know how to handle the Halo sandbox. You bring in more weapons from the rest of the Halo sandbox, and so these prequel missions are an encouraging sign. If they can ever get a new Halo game out this generation, probably not. I'm not even sure they'll even be mid-next gen.
Yeah,
Because like it's only concepts
I...
on a board now for the next Halo mainline game.
Yeah, I mean, unless they they just give it to someone else and say, here, churn something out in 2 to 3 years somehow.
They did bring in a lot of contractors for Campaign Evolved as well, just contracting entire studios rather than hiring on individual contractors for 18 months at a time this time. But still, it's difficult, as Pounder McNasty said, to be basically a conductor of multiple studios, like an overseer, a project manager. Even still, it's just this game was really troubled, and I don't know how it got to this point for a remake. I'm glad the result is very fun, and I'm really enjoying it. And you know, if you have Game Pass already, it's absolutely worth picking up, even as a curiosity piece. Even if you don't care about the changes. $50 on PlayStation? I mean, if this is literally your first time ever playing Halo, and you haven't like already checked it out via Game Pass Cloud or whatever, then or even Halo Infinite on PC, then I suppose. But that's a little dear to me, even for this game. I was, again, happy to pay the $20 for the potential to play early with you, and I'm glad I got to a little bit. But that digital deluxe edition at $70 just feels like a ripoff. I'm sorry. This is clearly the version that they wanted to push. If they had gone with a game sales only model instead of Game Pass, but that is not happening ever. And they put themselves in a real rock and a hard place with Game Pass, because plenty of internal studios have had objections to that. On the other hand, I'm not sure I would have bought things like Keeper or Kiln at the prices they were asking for. So, like, is it a matter of being able to access these games at all? Like, am I ripping the developers off by doing this? Like, again, it's the rational game player who is not at fault here, I hope. Oh, a skull!
Oh, nice.
Cranial.
Leadhead. Okay.
Ooh, what's that about?
I think that's just. Oh, I found the terminal.
Oh.
I think yeah. So thankfully they don't boot you out to like a separate app or anything. Like they used to.
I'm being lifted off.
I don't actually know if there's like separate cutscenes for the terminals or if they're just another collectible.
We could check it out. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Oh man, this. Oh.
It's gonna be a whole big encounter based on the size of this room.
Yes.
Yeah, there's plenty of weapons lying around. I found a rocket launcher. There's an open field around. Sniper. Okay.
This basically feels like that one map, multiplayer map, without some of the side hallways and the big central platform.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Midship, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's it. It always sounds familiar when you say it.
Alright, there's definitely going to be more waves coming in, yep.
Yeah, it's also nice to have an NPC who actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I do, like, I'm okay with them not including, like, competitive multiplayer in this, because, like, you know, Master Chief Collection's right there, that's fine. I do kind of wish they would have built in some sort of firefight. Like, an arena like this probably would suit something like that very well.
Yeah,
I feel like
concur.
Something that they could do. And hey, maybe they could still do it post-launch or something. Like, I would be so down for that. Although I guess the restriction there is this is. Oh wait, no, this is 4-player, isn't it? They did retrofit.
Yeah,
they 4-player, so I guess they could totally just
I think the getting 4 players in the campaign though was a bit of a technical lift, so that it would make sense why they would not include it at first. But I also now share your hope for a firefight with these maps, because so far it's pretty good.
Yeah, like I'm thinking like
design.
One thing that the first Halo gets criticized for, especially like that second level we were playing, Halo, is that a lot of the enemy encounters do just end up being like just very wave after wave after wave. But I've never had a problem with that, and that's why I've always liked Firefight as well.
Yeah, no, it just feels like you're criticizing the formula of an arena shooter at that point, or
and
like Modern Doom does something very similar. You know, lock you in with a bunch of enemies. BioShock has wide linear levels. Like at a certain point, you know, you got to give up the ghost on having waves of enemies. If that's your main problem, then you might have a problem with first-person shooters a lot of the time.
Yeah, and the other thing is like they've gotten like, especially between this and Master Chief Collection, even Halo Infinite had a pretty wide variety of skills. Like they have all these modifiers that they thoughtfully like implemented in these games. It would be cool to have like in old Firefights there would be skulls that would activate, but it was always very rigid unless they had like variant gimmick modes. It would be cool to have like a firefight mode with like, you know, some randomization involved, even like if they even wanted to like veer into more of a roguelite really direction.
Honestly, all of that sounds like things they could have been or were working on for Ecker, and that just had to scrap when Ecker was canceled.
But I'm saying I feel like they have a solid enough framework even with what they have here. Like
totally.
Like just playing this combat feels good enough to me that like, oh, if they just had a firefight mode that you could just party up online, I would
get fuel rodded.
I lament that much more than there not being competitive multiplayer personally. Because like they just really haven't done right by firefights since Halo Reach, in my opinion. Like they've had firefight modes, but they just haven't really capitalized on it or done it, in my opinion, like in a way that keeps people coming back.
I got it exploded by Hunter Plaza.
Okay.
Got
Hunters. Okay, let me just run away then. All right.
Oh man.
Weapons. All right. Well, we got a checkpoint.
Yeah, at least
that's
we did
one nice thing about Halo 1 was already always pretty generous with the checkpoints, even, you know, especially for a 25-year-old game. Like, I'm sure they probably made the checkpointing better, but it was always pretty good in terms of, like, if you just run away for a bit, a lot of times the game will just hand you a checkpoint in co-op while you're waiting for your teammate to respawn.
Yeah, to reduce frustration, for sure.
Yeah, alright, let me get on the shade turret, see if we can just brute force this guy. There we go. Okay, this is working.
I could see myself doing this whole game for the first time on Legendary.
Here we go.
Because
yeah,
it seems pretty manageable so far. It's possible that that's because of what you said with the checkpoints.
Yeah. The other hunter's down in the bottom middle. I'm trying to take some shots on them.
Oh, okay.
The AI seems to be, like, freaking out, honestly. Like, they're kind of just...
Yeah, I've had a couple of instances of that where, like, I think it was a brute who ended up shooting a wall. Like, he was standing by the wall. He clearly saw me, but he was
these guys
not shooting correctly.
They just kind of stood there and let me shoot them. That's fine.
Yeah, there might be a bit of a problem with the whole AI system. Eesh. Maybe that's some of the code that was imported, but maybe it isn't working well.
That's the old LAM engine in full effect, I guess. I mean, it's a video game. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect that perfectly every time. I could see that being, again, a selling point of next gen, that, like, oh, these enemies are now so smart with AI. We've gone over that a bunch, but let's see where we're going for now. Okay, this feels like the final... Another cutscene. It feels like the final one could be this one.
You picking this up, Sergeant Major?
Sure am, Chief. What's your read?
UNSC BattleNet telemetry. Just ahead.
That doesn't seem right. What could it be?
A trap.
Oh boy.
Exactly. No way to be sure.
There's a way.
But our objective is that way.
If UNSC soldiers are being held captive, we need to find out.
So basically, we are redoing that Nightfall.
Yeah, kinda.
Because we're freeing UNSC soldiers again.
Mm-hmm. I wonder.
Okay, yep, that's it.
Okay,
for
loading
that.
screen. Okay, cool. Okay, that was really good so far.
Yeah, that was a pretty good prequel mission, and you know what? Honestly, I'm actually glad that we're kind of forced to do that, because then it just shows a good chunk of how they handled the original game, and this. But wow, I have seen this cutscene before on YouTube, but it does not do it justice, and it will not do it justice on the video.
I got your back, Chief.
Even through my capture window, it's still really good looking.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well,
we can come back to this at a later date.
Sure. And yeah, sometime next week probably.
Most likely, yeah.
All right. Well, and if we are able to get a review of the aynthor in 2 weeks, then we definitely will on SunnyRedemption Sailing, your bi-weekly-ish voyage for PS3 Gaming News.
Yep.
And then hopefully, I think I'm going to finally talk to the new legal about doing a Gamescom show, because that would be really interesting. I wonder if it'll be on his platform and how that'll get set up, but I have a whole month to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
So in any event, you have a good one, and thanks for sailing with SunnyRedemption, everybody.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.